Hey, this is Cheryl Hunter. I look like I'm going sideways right now. What in the hell is happening with the camera? Hey, I am a best-selling author and resilience expert if we haven't met yet. And I wanted to talk to you about mindfulness. So I don't want to talk about mindfulness because I went into the caves of the Himalayas and studied some ancient text on it or something, but rather because I've recently done something that was the absence of mindfulness, and I think I could give it away. I think it could make a difference. So, one of the best things I think about sharing our journeys or listening to somebody who shares theirs is that we're able to benefit from what somebody else has learned without having to go through the nonsense for ourselves. So, we don't have to have engaged in combat in Iraq and have a limb blown off to be able to learn resilience from the person who has. So that's why I wanted to share with you today, share with you about what happened. So I had an accident over the past couple days with my ear, and the good news is everything's going to be okay. But I had a real wake-up call, which then led to a breakthrough that I want to share with you. So I was just doing my normal routine the other morning, got out of the shower, stuck a Q-tip in my ear, was drying off, and then all of a sudden something started to fall, and I went, without thinking, like an instinct, just a reflex, I bent down to pick it up, stood up, and I'll spare you the gory details, but the long and short of it is the Q-tip was like halfway in my brain practically. I went to a specialist yesterday who told me that, I had come a millimeter away from losing the entire hearing in that ear, and that was the wake-up call. And I thought, okay, mindfulness. That is something that I think I could glean from all this. Now, here's what I mean. I have based my life around, my work around, but certainly my life around the notion, the belief that there is at the heart of everything we face, particularly the challenges we face, there is some benefit there. There's gold if we mine it. If you don't know my story, as a teenager, I was abducted by two criminals who eventually left me for dead. And I was faced with a choice at that point. What path do I take my life down? And I stand for that we can get good out of, find gold out of the challenges we encounter. So I had to walk the talk here with the horrible stuff going on with my ear. And I realized that the lesson to glean was about mindfulness. I wasn't being mindful. I was being instinctive. I was being distracted. I was letting a reflex take over. All that stuff is kind of primitive brain stuff rather than focused, directed action that comes from the forebrain, right? So I thought, okay, I started dwelling in mindfulness and thought, what can I see about it? And one of the things I saw from mindfulness is that sorry, my pop-up's coming on my screen. One of the things I saw is that there's two levels to mindfulness. And the first one is about attention, and the second one is about intention. Okay, and here's what I mean. The bottom level, the base level of mindfulness is attention. Like, where is our attention? Obviously, if I got blood shooting out of my ear, sorry for the graphicness, but I'm not paying attention. My brain isn't there. But I think all of us are guilty of that. I mean, look for yourselves. But I know that I'm oftentimes not fully present with my attention. I was, like I'll sit in a meeting and text other people, or I was guilty recently of sitting with my grandma at her bedside in the hospital and responding to somebody's texts. It's just not the way I'm committed to being. Ironically, a few years ago, Huffington Post asked me to be their on-camera coach, and I did a series about multitasking in which I actually uttered the freaking words, multitasking makes you stupid. Now, full transparency, I was doing it myself, for Pete's sake. So I'll drop the link to that, by the way, in the comment section if you're interested in seeing it, because it really is good if we can but focus on, the bottom level of mindfulness. Attention. Where is your attention? Do you have all of your bandwidth allocated to the task in front of you, the person in front of you. So that's the base level of mindfulness, as I've been able to see it over the past couple days. And then I realized that there's a higher level of mindfulness. Once we've got our attention, our bandwidth all allocated in one place, then it comes down to intention. Like, what in the heck are you going to do with your attention? And that's when we can dedicate the genius that you are to goals, dreams, visions, making a difference in the planet. So that is my question to you, and ultimately my charge to you. Where do you want to dedicate your intention? I'd love to hear from you. So using the comments box below, I'd love to hear two different things, okay? One, tell one on yourself. Where have you not been, focusing your attention? Where have you been guilty of multitasking or having diffuse awareness? And then two, if you're willing to do that base level of attention, that base level of mindfulness, then where do you want to dedicate your attention? What is your intention? They say, it's been said throughout the years, that having an insight or an aha moment and not doing anything with it causes no difference whatsoever. Like it's useless. So one of the first things you can do, if you have an aha moment, you see something for yourself here, you communicate that. A great way to start is by declaring it publicly. Use the comment section and say, okay, I am going to do this. Obviously there will be correlate action to take to follow it up, but a public promise is one of the best things you can do to set yourself on the path of fulfilling your goals. If you like this video, share it with your friends and family, give it a thumbs up. Also like my page, because I do a lot of videos. I've got hundreds of free videos there that can be a real resource to you. And finally, subscribe to my list over on CherylHunter.com, because there's a lot of things that I send out only to people who are on my list. One of those things is I'd like to give you a free copy of my latest book, which is called How to Get Unstuck. You'll find all of that over at CherylHunter.com. In the meantime, know that one person can make a difference. You can make a difference. Have your life make that difference. See ya. Now, hopefully I can figure out how to turn this thing off.